Hello, welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper, and today we're going to be threading some big studs. Stud is a rod with threads on each end as opposed to a bolt that has a head on it. On a video I did about a month ago, we did some 2-inch ones. Now we're doing 3-inch. So this is our material here. It's 3-inch 1045. Already cut to length. We're just going to face it off a little bit, center drill it, and then start threading. And this is the nut the customer supplied me to ensure that it fits, but we're going to thread to pitch diameter, measuring over wires, and then we'll test the nut and see that we're right, everything's good, and we'll get these guys all done. All right, I got the first end done. I'm going to go ahead, flip it around, do the other end, and I'll get all 8 of them done, and then we'll start on the threading. All right, well, that's the last one, all faced off and center drilled. And somebody's probably going to comment that, I didn't measure my overall length. These were sawed right to a specific size. I was just cleaning them up, plus or minus an 1/8 inch on the overall length. So the length was not an issue. Next, we're going to go ahead and, as I mentioned in the last video when I did these, how they like to push when you're threading into the chuck. We're going to pull the chuck and put in a solid, rigid stop in the back, and then we'll slide the bar in right to that, center it, and thread away. All right, so we're all set up here. What the customer is asking for is 4.5 inches of 3-inch 4 on one end and 7 inches on the other. I'm going to do the 4.5 inch end first, flip it around, and then do the 4-inch or 7-inch end. And the reason for that is that the threads will mostly be within the chuck. So I'll be gripping on the 4.5 inch end, I'll be gripping out onto the bar and not on the threads and damaging the threads. And the reason I do it this way is, again, like I said, putting that rigid stop in there so it doesn't push on me as I'm taking these heavy, healthy cuts with the threading tool. It does like to walk in the chuck. And I've tried a lot of different things to keep it from moving. This is the best method, is putting a rigid stop in there. And, you know, I mean, other than taking lighter cuts, which I'm not going to do. I mean, it's about getting the job done. So take as much as you possibly can without wrecking your tooling, and then finish it off with the light cuts, make it nice. But getting the job done is the key here, as quickly as possible. So the very first thing I'm going to do here is come in with my threading tool and chamfer the leading edge. You know, just a starting chamfer. And I always do this with my threading tool because it does give really the nicest cut. And then I'll zero my readout at the point, come down 4.5 inches and make a mark. All right, so I just changed out to a round insert. I'm gonna put a thread relief in here, and we know we gotta go, based on the thread pitch and everything, we're going 300 thousandths deep. And I'm actually gonna put the center of this just past my 4.5 inch mark. And here we go. Now we'll go back to the threading tool. Just touch it off, get my zero. Right there. All right, I'm running 125 RPM. I'm gonna go in 60 with the cross slide to start with. And here we go. All right, in this pass, I'm taking another 40. I'm just gonna keep taking 20 thou at a time for a little bit until we get in a ways, and then we'll start going in with the compound. All right, now I'm taking with the compound because I'm in deep enough where it makes sense. All right, I know we're not there yet, but I'm gonna go grab the thread wires and we'll measure up and see where we are and see how much further we got to go. All right, so last time I did this, I wound up using the caliper to measure because the micrometer wouldn't quite get there. Not enough face on the pad of the micrometer to get across the wires. So we're gonna measure it with the caliper because that'll actually get there. And then once we get this first one where it needs to be, so I don't have to do all the fancy figuring and stuff, we're gonna get out the thread measuring triangles and that I just bought, and we'll see how those compare. All right, I got 2.87 as my pitch diameter. We are going for a 2.834 for the final maximum pitch diameter. That's what we're shooting for. We want to be just a touch under that if we can be. So we'll get it as close as we can. So we'll just keep on taking light cuts now. I'm taking about 5 thou a pass on the compound. I may have to back that off just a little bit, but we'll see how it keeps cutting. Well, according to my caliper here, it says I've got about 5 thou to go. I need to finish at over the wires 3.046 and I'm at 3.051. So I think one more light pass and we'll have this. Well, that sure looks nice. Let's, that last pass should have done it. I got a burr right here though that I'm gonna grab the file and hit that, and then we'll test the nut. Wow, very little rock at all, and that's a beautiful fit. All right, there she is. Just a little, but not a lot. That's perfect. Couldn't ask for better. Now we'll go ahead and flip her around and do the other end. All right, I almost forgot here. We're gonna do these thread measuring triangles, and they're just a little triangle that goes on the micrometer here. And I just got these from KBC Tools. And there is a mathematical formula for figuring out the pitch diameter. The thread triangles, the book goes up to 1.5 inches, but when we get into this bigger stuff, you know, then you got to calculate it out. But I figured I already have a baseline for, you know, what I need with the thread wires, so we'll just measure it and then we'll know where we are. 3.036. That's what it comes out as, but now I'm starting to wonder, Because the triangle is smaller than the anvil on the micrometer here. I almost wonder if I'm bottoming out. So, I'll take one off and we'll find out. All right, let's see what we can see here. And actually feeling it, I am just above the top of the thread. Just feeling it. So this will work. But if anybody knows of a bigger set of thread triangles out there, I would love to get a bigger set, taller set. So if anybody knows of any, let me know. All right, so I'm not gripping on quite as much as I had thought, but this is good because I'm not going to tear up my threads, but I'm gripping here. I'll just take lighter passes if I notice anything. And this end, we're doing 7 inches of thread. All right, this end, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start out with my chamfer. My distance was still good, my zero. Come down 7 inches. Right there. I'll put a mark. And I'll switch it out to my round insert. Slow it down to my threading speed of 125 RPM. And then we'll come in and we'll groove this out. right, one more pass there. That should have got me right under. Very nice. Yes, very, very nice. Beautiful. Oh, this guy's done. Well, there you have it, one down, I got 7 to go. I'm gonna end the video here, but I'm gonna fill you in on a little secret. There's one more part to this part. There is a nut I have to make. It is a square nut, 2.5 inches long, and we got a thread internally. And that video will be coming, so stay tuned to the channel. And check out my website, toppermachine.com, for the pin jaws and some other stuff that I have on there. I'm working on more ideas of products to sell there for you guys to help out in your shops. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.